This week on the podcast, Capcom is bringing out more beat-em-up classics. Assassin's Creed 3 is being remastered. We get an idea of how Master Chief's face looks, and is PSX happening this year? All of these stories and so much more on episode number 87 of the Analog Circle podcast. I am your host, Kiaun Mitchell, and as always, I truly appreciate you guys tuning in for another episode of the podcast. Now, as always, if you guys want to leave feedback or you guys just want to get in contact with the show, you can always feel free to do that two different ways. That could be by calling the podcast at 443-216-9934, or you can always email the show at the Analog Circle Podcast at gmail.com. Now, speaking of the feedback section, let's go ahead and get right into it, because Mr. Cody Clark has hit us with another email. Now, before I get into the email, if you guys want to check out some previously recorded episodes of the podcast, you can find it over on SoundCloud. You can find it over on Apple Podcasts. Where else? Audio Mac and various other places. Just make sure you hit the like button and subscribe and enjoy yourself. But anyway, let's go ahead and get into Mr. Cody Clark's email. Now, the title of his email is Access All These Buffs. Now, he says, I do hope Microsoft goes all access and has multiple ways to get their new system. I feel like paying full price for the latest and greatest has its perks, but the idea of an installment makes more sense. I want to see them expand out of the Microsoft Store, though, as that is a super limited venue. I don't even know where my local Microsoft Store is. Hey, Cody, you're not by yourself on that, brother. Now, he continues to say Tyson's or something, somewhere. I do not want to drive ever, especially in the holidays. I mean, as much as it grinds me, Adobe does the same thing with their platform, so it kind of makes sense. I would not be surprised to see them do it with the Windows OS as well. Even if this isn't the best thing ever, I am excited to see what will end up being their new strategy. Cody Clark, brother, love your emails. Please continue to send them. Please. And I truly appreciate it. Listen, man, last week I was asking you guys, could Microsoft go all access? Because we know that's the new thing they have going on. Unfortunately, you can only get it at Dell.com and the Microsoft Store. You can't go to your Best Buy. You can't get it at Amazon. You can't get it anywhere but those two places. So, Cody, I'm with you, man. I'm very interested to see what their next strategy would be. I think this would be a great one because, you don't have all of the upfront costs. You can be able to kind of piecemeal it together, and not have to come up with all of the money at once. Especially, I really like this program because you're not getting any interest. Well, they're not getting any interest off of the payments. Everything is just strictly going towards the purchase of the Xbox One X or the Xbox One S, with none of it being a percentage rate and putting a whole load of extra money on your wallet. So that is awesome. We'll definitely see. And like you said, who wants to do this during the holidays? I have no idea where my local Microsoft Store is here in Maryland. I have no idea. No clue. But I don't want to be out there in the holiday rush, going around trying to find a Microsoft Store to get this doggone deal. So hopefully they'll make it more accessible, like you said, Cody, and make it easier for the consumer to be able to find it and buy it. So we will definitely see. But as always, Cody, it's truly appreciated, brother, when you write in. It makes the show that much better. Thank you, brother. Now, let's get into, man, what have I been into? I got to tell you guys, picked up 2 different games. Picked up Spider-Man. Oh, Spider-Man. Man, I said it was going to get an 87 on Metacritic. I'm not 100% sure where it stands at the moment. But as far as what I've played of Spider-Man, I have greatly enjoyed it. It is a beautiful looking game, especially when you're on the street level and you're looking at the taxi cabs and the homes, or just the, what do they call them? Brickstones. I think that's what they call them. Brickstone homes or whatever. It's just a beautiful looking game. The swinging mechanic, it is good. It's really good, but sometimes, I'm banging in the buildings, and, it's fluid. That's the one thing I do like about it. When you bang up against a building unintentionally, you can actually run right up the building. So it is pretty smooth in that aspect. Gameplay is really good as well. I've definitely been enjoying the gameplay. The different move sets that Spider-Man has is pretty incredible. I'm only about 3, maybe 4 hours in, so I'm not that far in, but the game has been absolutely great. I've thoroughly enjoyed it. Really no complaints. I have to say the story is cool. I like the fact that you get to play as Peter Parker himself, outside of Spider-Man. It's a nice touch, something we've never seen in a Spider-Man game before. Some of the things that you do as Peter Parker can be a little tedious, to my knowledge so far. Some of the things I've just skipped over. They have this thing where you have to put things together similar to the BioShock mechanic of putting robots together or something like that. But you got to put circuit boards and all of that stuff together. It's cool, but I didn't sign up for this, man. I just wanted to be Spider-Man and start web slinging and doing what Spider-Man does. But overall, definitely have been enjoying the game. I picked up Rise of the Tomb Raider and unfortunately did not get a chance to even open it up. So hopefully by the next time I'm able to record, I can get into that. But outside of that, I played Forza Horizon 4's demo. Man, I gotta say, the game is absolutely beautiful. I mean, I know they're talking about ray tracing is the new thing that's supposed to be happening for the next generation consoles, possibly. But the new GTX cards, that is like the main thing that they're really hyping up. And I gotta say, the reflections that you get on the car models is absolutely amazing. I mean, good gosh, graphically, the game is... it's very beautiful. I mean, when it rains, you can actually see the beads of rain on the car. It's absolutely sensational with detail. As far as the gameplay goes, man, look, I'm not a big racing game fan. That's not really the genre I absolutely love the most. So maybe I'm a little slow on the upswing with it when it comes to Horizon 4. But man, the mechanics, God dog, man, it's like your car just slips all over the place. And I understand they're going for realism, but well, shoot, man, I thought Horizon was supposed to be more arcade driven, and god darn, man, I'm having a hard time getting grip on the doggone, on the ground, on the street or whatever, and I'm drifting way too much and just out of control. So I don't really, gameplay is, I guess, okay. Maybe if I had my driving wheel hooked up, maybe it would be better. But right now, man, I ain't really feeling that joint, to be honest with you. But anyway, that's what I've been into so far. It's not a bad game. Let me kind of retract that a little bit. It's just a learning curve right now. And I've been able to have some fun with it. And, it's just going to take a while to get into it. But, like I said, I'm not a big driving fan, so I can't really speak to how great it is. But, as far as I'm concerned, It's cool. It's actually cool right now, but nothing just jaw-dropping outside of the graphics, though. But, anyway, that's about it for that. But, guys, let's go ahead and get into the meat and potatoes of the doggone podcast, and let's get into the gaming news that went down. Now, let's start it off with some, SNK news. Now, during PlayStation's Line Up Tour streaming event, it was revealed that SNK is developing a new Samurai Showdown, which will be launching in 2019. Now, interestingly, SNK will be using Unreal Engine 4 for the development. Now, the game will also include some of the original characters, such as Nokoruru, Galford, and Haomura. I can never get their names right. But anyway, the game looks awesome. Definitely check it out on YouTube. I tell you, I remember playing Samurai Showdown in the arcade. Matter of fact, it was the first game that I'd played that had weapons in it. And this is before Soul Calibur. You know, Soul Calibur was not the first to do it with weapons. It was not. At least not to my knowledge. But the game was so cool that I didn't want to play it on anything outside of the Neo Geo. So, of course, I never got a chance to play it because I darn sure couldn't get one of those when I was younger. But I remember it came out on the Super Nintendo and I was tempted. But I said, nah, I really want to play it the way that it was intended to be played. But nonetheless, this will be coming out in 2019, which continues to be a stacked year. So we'll see what happens with this. Now, moving on, let's jump into some Nintendo news, and this is cool. It's official. Nintendo will be launching its online service on September 18th, which is tomorrow. Now, if you're still on the fence about the service, you'll be able to download a 7-day trial before putting your money down. Also, similar to Games with Gold or PSN, you will get access to online enabled NES games such as, I got the list. I think it's Legend of Zelda, Super Mario Brothers, you got Excitebike, you got Double Dragon, Pro Wrestling, Ghosts and Goblins, Tecmo Bowl. Either way, it's gonna be a total of 20 games. Now, this is the thing. Here is the pricing. Pricing is pretty darn great, I must say. Now, you could pay $34.99 for a family plan, which could cover up to 7 family members. Or if you don't want to commit long term, you can sign up for a month for $3.99, or you can sign up for 3 months for $7.99, and a year will cost $19.99. Now, more details about the service include Now, wait a minute. I said that this was good news. It's not all paradise and roses in this mother loving. Now, this is where it kind of takes a bit of a dip for me. You're gonna have to, check in. Oh, guys, does that sound familiar? Oh man, 2013, Microsoft talked about checking in. People would have thought they talked about their mother. Now, you gotta check in on a weekly basis to keep your subscription from lapsing. Now listen up to this too. Your cloud saves will vanish if you are 1 day late with your payment. 1 day, god dog, what if the check needed a couple hours to clear and it didn't clear and it got denied? Your cloud saves are gone. Now that is at least what Eurogamer is reporting. Now, as far as voice chat, it's still regulated to the phone app. Now, one of the brighter sides to this story is Nintendo will be selling the original NES controllers to play the retro games the way they should be played. But you have to be a Nintendo Switch Online member to buy them. And they're gonna set you back $60, but they will be wireless and chargeable. And the thing is, now listen to this. If you guys want these controllers, you're going to have to wait until December. That's when they're going to be available. So you can't even buy these. Let's just say you just want to get them maybe for the hope and possibility of being able to download some original Nintendo games. You want to really get that same old feel, and you just want to get these controllers just off the strength of that. Nintendo, as far as it is right now, you can't do that. You have to be a subscription member in order to get these controllers, which is freaking nuts. I don't know what Nintendo was doing. I mean, it's a whole lot here, but I'm not going to waste a lot of time on it, man. But God, dog, one day late and your cloud save is gone. God darn, that is so Nintendo. Moving on into some pretty dope Capcom news. I was very excited about this. Now, if you were a gamer like myself in the 90s, Capcom was legendary in the arcade with classics like Street Fighter II and Final Fight. Well, if you were a beat-em-up fan of Capcom, you will be happy to know that the retro saga continues. Capcom has announced the quote-unquote beat 'em up bundle, which will include the following games. You're gonna get Final Fight, The King of Dragons, Captain Commando, Knights of the Round Table, Warriors of Fate, Armored Warriors, and Battle Circuit. God dog, that's a lot of games. Now, the game will be released, or I should say the bundle will be released for PC, PlayStation 4, Switch, and Xbox One on September 18th, which is tomorrow. Now, the coolest thing about this bundle to me personally is you will be able to play co-op on the couch. It can be couch co-op, or you can play it online. And how much is this bundle gonna cost, you might be asking? The bundle is gonna be $19.99. I am so excited about this because some of these games, they never came to the console. I can't remember the King of Dragons coming or Captain Commando. Not that Captain Commando. This is gonna be absolutely great. All of these games, you can play them online or couch co-op, $20. This is fantastic. I can't wait for this to release. Now let's move on into some quick news. Now, this ain't going to be quick. Thought it was, but it's not. Square Enix will be bringing Final Fantasy 7, 9, 10, and 12 to both the Nintendo Switch and, shockingly, the Xbox One. Now, these will be released in 2019, as well as X2 Remastered, which is going to be coming out for the Switch and the Xbox One. Also, this year, you can purchase World of Final Fantasy Maxima on November 6th for the Switch, the Xbox One, and the PC. I mean, not the PC, the PlayStation 4, as well as Final Fantasy 15 Pocket Edition for PlayStation 4, Switch, and Xbox One right now. Now, Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles Remastered Edition will also be available for Switch and PlayStation 4 in 2019. One more thing. Almost forgot. There's another title, that's coming out, for the PlayStation 4 and Switch, and that is called Chocobo's Mystery Dungeon. Oh, Chocobos. Man, oh man. So all of these are coming out. These are cool. I've only played 7, 10, and 15 is still in the wrapper. I have not opened it up yet. So, yeah, this will be a great moment for people to catch up on the franchise. Might be new to it. Might have heard a lot about Final Fantasy 7. Want to see what it's about. It's finally available on the Xbox One. So this is great news. But let's go ahead and move on to the next story, which was another interesting one for me personally. Now, we all know about Master Chief's helmet. It's kind kind of become an iconic, thing in this gaming space, to the point where it was bundled with the Halo 3 Legacy Edition, if I'm remembering correctly. But if you're like myself, you see Master Chief with the helmet on, you might have wondered, man, what the world does Chief look like underneath the helmet? I mean, is he human? Is he half, robot? I mean, what's going on with him? Well, co-creator of the Halo universe, Mr. Marcus Leto, gave a little more insight on this. Now, he said, and I quote, we had a very early sketch of John 1:17 that had him bald from years of wearing a helmet and scars over most of his exposed skin. He continued to say he was, and this is his quote, he was heroic, but also kind of brutal at the same time. Now, if you guys out there who are big Halo, you guys are doggone dons of this stuff. You guys do what you do and are amazing at Halo. If you beat Halo 4 on Legendary, you actually get a special cutscene that reveals a little bit of Chief's face. Now, me personally, I've never beat a Halo game on Legendary, nor have I ever aspired to. But for you few that have done it, I'm sure you guys got that glimpse. And if you haven't, you can always go over to YouTube, check it out, do what you do. But it looks like Chief is wore the heck out. Scars everywhere. He's basically saying he looks mangled. Even though he looks heroic, he looks brutal. Looks like the man has really seen a hard life, and I can only imagine. Hey, it is what it is. Of course, we will never see Chief's face. I don't think I would ever want to see Master Chief's face, even if they were to show it. I think it would be a bit of a letdown to me because I kind of like the mystery behind the mask. But I've always wondered, God, dog, what does he look like? Well, guess that's about as close as we're going to get to knowing what Chief looks like. Now, moving on into some more Nintendo news. Now, it was announced new Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe will be coming to the Switch on January 11th and will feature new characters Toadette, Toadette, and Nabbit. Now, the game will feature over 164 courses. So for you guys that might have missed it on the Wii U, this is great. Nintendo continues to do these moves, and I think it's the best thing to do because people like myself who didn't have the Wii U, who now have the Switch, we have the chance to go back into their back catalog, as it were, and play some of these games that we weren't able to play before. So I think this is a great move. Also, interesting thing about Toadette, Toadette actually transforms into Peachette, which is like the Princess Peach. So very interesting. Kind of looking forward to this one. I definitely want to play a side-scrolling Mario. I haven't done that in a very, very, very long time. So I'm interested in this, but we'll see how it goes. Now, moving on. Now, this is just really quickly. If you weren't aware, Tokyo Game Show is going to be starting September 19th, and there will be a new game trailer for Kingdom Hearts 3 that will be shown off on September 18th. God darn, a lot of stuff is happening on the 18th. So tomorrow, by the time you hear this, it should be up and everything should be cool. So, September 18th, if you're a Kingdom Hearts fan, definitely look out for the trailer that'll be up tomorrow. Now, moving on into some Forza Horizon 4 news, it has been reported that 10 James Bond vehicles will be added to the game in what they're calling a Bond car pack. Now, some of these include the Lotus E-Sprint, and the Aston DB5. Citron 2CV. I don't know what the heck I'm talking about, man. Anyway, listen, man, it's going to be some cool Bond cars that's going to be available, in this car pack. So just be on the lookout for it. I doubt if it's going to have the guns on the front and all of that stuff, but nonetheless, it should be pretty cool. I'm actually excited for what they are doing with Horizon this year, being able to put the Master Chief, what is it, the Warthog into the game as well, doing something with Cortana. I mean, I think that it's really cool, and I love the fact that the seasons are a thing, because it really does make the game look completely different, and everything handles different. And I mean, I think it's awesome what they're doing. So, I mean, I'm looking forward to it, and hopefully it turns out great. So, I mean, kudos to, Playground Games. You guys are doing awesome, man. But moving on into some Spider-Man news. Now, it was confirmed via a tweet that Spider-Man will be getting a new Game Plus mode. Now, there has been no release date given, but they are quote unquote polishing it up. So this is good news for people that, once you get all of the upgrades, all of the suits, and, you've just basically maxed out Spider-Man and you want to go back into it, you guys will be able to carry over all of your items into the new Game Plus mode. Now, I mean, I think that's awesome. Spider-Man also has some DLC coming out very soon. I think Black Cat is up first. So, I mean, I think it's going to be a nice long life for this game in the near future. But, moving on from that, into some, Assassin's Creed news. God darn. Now, this really took me out of left field. This, right here. It looks like the franchise won't be taking a break next year, because it's official. Assassin's Creed 3 will be getting remastered and should come out sometime around March. Now, this is the thing. If you've actually purchased, or if you do decide to purchase the Assassin's Creed Odyssey Season Pass, then you will get the game for free. Now, I gotta say, I think the protagonist's name was Connor. I missed this one. Be completely honest. Didn't play AC3. It looked interesting to me at the time. And I loved the time period as well. I thought that was great as well. But when I heard it had so many slow parts in the game and it just wasn't clicking on all cylinders, I kind of backed out. So I don't know if this is the most popular Assassin's Creed to try to remaster. I mean, I don't know. To my knowledge, AC3 is one of the low points of the franchise. But nonetheless, for people like myself, if it's priced right, maybe I'll give it a shot. But also I want to say, since this is a remaster, I wouldn't look for anything, amazing as far as graphics go. I mean, we know how the remaster game goes. They're only going to go so far. So we'll see how it comes out. But once again, if you're going to have Assassin's Creed take a break, let it take a break. But no, they're not going to do it. They're not going to. But it is what it is, man. Anyway, moving on. Into some PlayStation news. Looks like Push Square. This is very interesting as well. Push Square has asked Sony to clarify its PlayStation experience plans, but never got a word back. But that didn't stop fans from hitting up Sid Schumann on Twitter, who said, and I quote, once they were hitting him up and flooding his Twitter box, whatever you call it, he said, this is a quote, "No news to share." That's about it. Now, this is interesting because back in 2017, the event was announced in June. But to this point, PSX, I think it was announced back in 2016. It was announced in late September. So maybe it'll still happen, but nonetheless, God dog, you don't want to really spring this on to your fan base and have them scrambling for airfare and for hotels, I would think you would want to get this out there as fast as possible. Now, I mean, if we want to, do a flashback here, last year, at PSX, it was a little lackluster, wasn't it? I mean, God dog, to my knowledge, I think, things didn't go so well, right? I mean, they were sitting on the couch a lot. Maybe I could be, kind of being a little hazy on it, but people were not very impressed with PSX last year. It was a whole lot of talking, wasn't a whole lot shown. I'm not going to say a whole lot wasn't shown, but it just didn't live up to people's expectations. So, I mean, we know what Sony is working with right now, the games that they have in development. Who knows, man? Who knows if it's going to happen this year? It's a big question mark right now. We'll have to wait and see. Hopefully, sometime during Tokyo Game Show, maybe they'll, announce something for the States. I don't know, but, we'll see. We'll see. Now, moving on into more news, a company called Replicate X is making officially licensed, fully playable original cabinets of Centipede Street Fighter II Champion Edition, as well as Tempest. Now, the cabinet itself will be 12 inches tall and costs a whopping $160. Now, if you want to order it, you can go to their website that is called newwavetoys.com. That's newwavetoys.com. Now, it will be available outside of that website for purchase at Walmart, Best Buy, and Amazon at a later date. So we got to wait for that. But if you want to be one of the first, you got to go to that website. It looks pretty cool. I saw it on IGN. I think it was Up in the Morning. And it was actually pretty cool. They were showing off the Centipede model, and it looked really cool, man. So for collectors and people that are really into the gaming culture, it's definitely worth getting. And the thing I really liked about it was the marquee on the front of it actually lit up. And also, I like the fact, once again, that it's officially licensed. So you got the trackball. I mean, check it out, man. It's not bad. $160 is a little steep, but if that's what you're into, kind of similar to myself, then maybe you can save up and get it, and it might be worth it to you. Now, this next story, I need you guys to take it with a mustard seed. I mean, a mustard seed of truth. But it has been said that hackers have uncovered Super NES controller icons within the Switch code. So could we start seeing Super NES games in the future on the Switch? That is a big question mark, and I think that Nintendo is doing a disservice to their fans not having Super Nintendo games on the Switch. I think that this is amazing. Matter of fact, I want to let you guys know that you guys might not be aware, you might be aware, but the company Hyperkin, I believe is the name of it, they actually have a portable Super Nintendo. I think it's called the S-Boy or something like that. I saw it in, what is the store? Give me 5 seconds. I'm going to think of it in Micro Center. I saw it in Micro Center. I think it was like $50 or $60. You literally put the Super Nintendo cartridge into the back of it and it plays the games. $60. So if you can find these Super Nintendo games and, be able to, get your hands on the ones that you want, go out there and get this Hyperkin if Nintendo doesn't get their act together. But, nonetheless, I really hope Nintendo does this. This would be dope to see the Nintendo games that are going to be on there with the service. Hey, put Super Nintendo games under there with your service. That would really attract a lot of people to the doggone online service. So we'll see how it goes. Once again, this is only a rumor right now, so take it with a mustard seed of hope. Now, moving on to the last story. Now, it looks like Bethesda's vice president of global marketing and communication said in a Metro interview, and I quote, and this was actually a question mark that I had about this, because I was wondering, before I get into his quote, if Wolfenstein 3 would be, coming back, because right now we know that they have the Young Bloods that's supposed to be coming out soon, and that's based off of Blazkowicz's daughters, I believe. But anyway, in this interview, he said, absolutely, we're making a Wolfenstein 3. So, like I said, now at least we know that Blazkowicz's daughters aren't going to be taking his place permanently. Basically, they were saying they're going to give it a chance to breathe, bring out this Young Bloods, and, some kind of way, I guess they'll be bringing Blazkowicz back into the picture. But nonetheless, guys, that is it for the gaming news this week. But we will be back. We will be back with the final section of the podcast after this week's video game theater. Stay tuned, guys.
Put out that cigar. Connecting oxygen hose to interior connector. Put on your mask. Does this panty waste know what he's doing?
Approaching release point.
10 minutes to drop off.
Hey, are you deaf?
He said put out the cigar and put on your mask.
Depressurization complete.
Checking oxygen supply.
6 minutes to drop off. Opening rear hatch. Sunrise. External temperature minus 46 degrees Celsius. 2 minutes to drop off. Stand up.
You'll be falling at 130 miles per hour. Try not to get frostbite from the wind chill.
1 minute to drop off. Move to the rear.
Activate bailout bottle.
This is one for the history books. The world's first halo jump.
10 seconds to drop off. Stand by. Status okay. All green.
Prepare for drop-off. Countdown. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Spread your wings
And fly. God be with you.
All right, welcome back, guys. Now, before we finally officially get into the last section of the podcast, I wanted to give away a free game for the Xbox One. I'm about to say the Xbox One. It's an older game, so hopefully somebody will be interested in it. It's just a thank you to you guys. I wanted to do this before at least 2 times a month. Thankfully I'm able to, at least this month. So without further ado, this code is for Assassin's Creed Black Flag, and the code is as follows. It is 7DC92 PH9 HR TK PKJ TJ GH 6 9M9JZ. I just want to say once again, thank you guys for all of the support. Hopefully, I think it was 2 weeks ago I recorded. Someone was able to use the $25 PlayStation gift card to maybe put towards a game, but nonetheless, it's just a thank you. So I really appreciate you guys. And, yeah, that's about it for that. But let's move on into the final section, which is the question of the week. Now, this week, it's not so much a question. It's more of a statement. I've been thinking about this, and to me, the console war is the best thing for gaming. Now, hear me out. I'm not talking about the fanboys going back and forth and being very toxic, but the console war that I'm talking about is between the manufacturers themselves, between Microsoft, Nintendo, Sony. Well, Nintendo's doing their own thing, so I don't even know if they count, but they definitely want the sales. But what I mean by this is we have case in points where Microsoft came to the table with Xbox Live, and it was a very big success. Sony, they came to the table with PSN. It wasn't that great during the PS3 era, but they put money into it. You got to pay for it. But what they did do that was phenomenal, that Microsoft actually jacked the idea, was putting games up for free when you signed up for their online service. So Microsoft took that out of Sony's playbook and they used it. Just like, we see it with Nintendo now, with their service. So, when you're able to have a company to actually see what another company is doing, implement on it and do better. I mean, seeing PlayStation having all of these only one player only games, these experiences like Spider-Man, Days Gone that's coming out soon, Detroit Become Human, these single player experiences. Now we see Microsoft buying 5 studios trying to do the same thing to give their players more of a single player focused environment as well. So I think it's absolutely great. These are all surface level things, and I'm not trying to get so heavy into it because I don't want to bore you, with any more of the details. But that's what I think. I would like to know what you guys think about this. Once again, I think the console war is the best thing for gaming. What do you think? So with that being said, man, if you want to chime in, call in at 443-216-9934, or you can email the show, the Analog Circle Podcast at gmail.com. I would love to hear from you, the listener. But, that is about it for this week. And, hopefully, I'll be back again next week. But before we get out of here, always remember this. It is not about the consoles. It's about the games, baby. So with that being said, you guys take care. Be safe out there. Bye-bye.